Member for Shortland, my apologies.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And being a Queenslander, I can only see that there might be some sort of favouritism taking place there. But as an ardent Blues supporter, I'll be quite happy tomorrow to sit in here wearing my Blues, showing that celebrating the victory of the Blues that I know that's going to take place in about an hour's time. So no more prejudice and down to the issue. Mr Deputy Speaker, I'm very disturbed about the fact that $80 billion is being ripped out of the budget, education and health, and particularly education, because education is the key to a successful future. We must ensure that each and every student gets a great education, and then when they get that great education, it prepares them for the future. Now, before the last election, Tony Abbott and the Prime Minister and the Minister for Education stood up and said that they were on a unity ticket with the Labor Party. Well, Mr Deputy Speaker, I can only say that their understanding of a unity ticket and my understanding of a unity ticket are totally different. And, Mr Deputy Speaker, I attended forums in my electorate during the election campaign. Unfortunately, my Liberal Party opponent didn't turn up for that forum, and I can now understand why, because there was never a real commitment to delivering the Gonski reforms. And on Tuesday night I attended the Christian Schools dinner here in Parliament House, and talking to the principal of my local Christian school and other principals from Christian schools in my local area, they were telling me about how they've put their building projects on hold, how the uncertainty is impacting on their planning for the future. So, Mr Deputy Speaker, this flows through to the students that they're teaching. Catholic schools within my electorate have been particularly concerned about students with disability, and this budget really delivers a cruel blow to those students, denying them the disability loading that the Prime Minister promised would be there in 2015. These are all decisions that are going to impact massively on the students that I represent in this parliament. And not only will they impact on those students and their families, that will flow through to having an enormous impact on us as a nation. Now, Mr Deputy Speaker, it is in a stark contrast to what Labor did when they were in government, the review that resulted in the Gonski reforms being put forward to give each and every child in Australia a good quality education. School Kids Bonus, building the Education Revolution program, $2.5 billion in trade training centres. Within my electorate, in the most disadvantaged part of my electorate, the schools there can offer trade training up to certificate level 3. And that is really important because they're isolated, there's no public transport, and they really need to be able to access that training to be able to get jobs. Much better to train and learn than be languishing in a work for the dole program, having no money and being forced to jump through hoops. Mr Deputy Speaker, it is so important that young people get the training that they need. And it doesn't only end with schools, changes to higher education. The broken promises there will force all university students to pay much more for their degree, and breaks a promise, another promise that the coalition made before the election. Now, you can really forgive voters for thinking that this government says one thing before an election and another thing after the election. But the sad thing about it, the really sad thing about it, is that it impacts on real people's lives each and every day. It takes away opportunity, it takes away it takes away from the whole of the country, from the whole of the nation, because when you're removing opportunity from individuals, you're also removing opportunity from the country as a whole. And the fact that students are going to have to pay higher interest rate on their HECS and the university courses are going
Order.
to
The
cost a
honourable
lot more.
member's time has
We'll
expired,
have
and I
an
call now the honourable